Hey guys, Artosis here. Thank you for checking out ArtosisCasts. We are deciding the final player moving out of Group C in the round of 16 to that coveted round of 8. We have YSC with 1 map win going up against Mihu with 1 map win. The winner here gonna be very, very happy with themselves. Obviously, if Mihu moves on, that is a big, big deal for those players outside of Korea, and especially those players in China. Definitely something that they are going to be rooting for. But YSC pretty deadly, winning that last game with a nice double proxy gate. Definitely kept the pressure on to Mihu and made him make some mistakes. And that can happen. You know, when someone's doing a rush like that, you really have to be very precise with your defense. You can't be wasteful at all, especially when you choose the type of line that Mihu went down there. Right, if you're going for that double barracks as the counter, you need to get out. You need to kill those gates. So, anyways, while we wait here on Dark Origin for something interesting to get happening, I want to encourage you to hit the subscribe button. Go down there, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. We have new pro games every single day. How many games are on the channel? It has to be nearing 1,000 at this point. Hope that you enjoy that. Just about unlimited content out there. And I'm glad that you choose ArtosisCasts. I mean, it is the best stuff, but I thank you for checking it out anyways. Leave a like, leave a comment. It really does help the channel. And as the channel continues to grow, I can do more and more greater and greater things with it. Thank you very much, guys. Now, Mihu going for a pretty quick scout. He's going to find a Nexus first. There's a possibility this gets very aggressive very quickly. Now, Mihu also has the opportunity to just not mine gas and just take a command center. Those are the two things. If he goes for factory, well, I mean, I guess there are 3 things. You go factory expand, you go Vulture Marine SCV rush, or you go, you can just expand right away. Okay, he's mining gas, so it's either factory expand or a Marine SCV Vulture rush. Now, if it is factory expand, you can do something like a starport to drop real quick. Now, this, honestly, I don't know a Terran in the world that wouldn't rush this. And also, Mihu, like, okay, yeah, he's going to skip that SCV. Little tiny bit late on the factory, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. Yeah, like, if you see your opponent going Nexus first on a 2-player map, and they go, like, Gateway, Gas, Core, Gateway, instead of Gateway, Gas, Core, oh, dude, it's so different. I can't even explain to you how different it is. This is a pretty greedy variant from YSC. It's not the greediest, but it's very greedy, and you should be able to bust it. But he's not making Marines. He's made like 2 Marines. So this is not going to be a bust attempt from Mihu, which again, I do find a little bit surprising here. The one thing I can say is the rush distance is a little bit long on Dark Origin, and also you have these bridges. And if a Zealot meets you on the bridges, or if they get vision of mineral patches and drill probes through there, even though that is kind of far from the Nexus, things can go massively wrong. But honestly, I don't think that that's that scary, because you can just switch which bridge you're going to. Like, if the Zealot's trying to zone this bridge, you can go to the other. And honestly, you can't drill the probes through this bridge, so you're probably fine. So anyways, I do find it, like, slightly surprising that he goes for the factory expand and just lets YSC do as he wishes here with the quick double Nexus. And you can see this continues to be greedy. No range, instead going to Robo. Now, yeah, there's the starport I was kind of talking about before, right? For Mihu, there's basically, well, I guess there's actually right now 3 options with the factory expand against this. There's a newer 2-factory Vulture option where you go for a fast third. I don't know if that would work well in this map. I think it's a little bit map dependent. You have to have a good defensible third base, and this is kind of defensible. Like, I guess you lay mines on the bridge, and then you have the 1 ramp that can come down, but a little bit tricky. That one's not as popular yet. Then there's this one where you go mines and speed. You get probably 6 Vultures total, drop 4 in the main, and the other 2 try to hit the natural. And of course, you're containing them with mines with that. And then there is just very fast armory, where you just say, okay, you have an economic advantage. I'm going to upgrade and be a little bit greedy in that regard and catch up in the late mid-game to early late game. So YSC right now, you know, just going into observers and 3 gates, like this is some normal stuff. This is kind of what you expect to see. This is safety play, where if he catches that dropship, he's going to be very, very happy. And I mean, we'll see if he catches it. It's not like Protoss players don't know that this is one of the main things Terran wants to do. Right, that as long as he keeps like 3 to 4 goons up here, he should be able to do a pretty good job intercepting. And you can also see there's a little bit of a Sim City here. Doesn't let vultures behind. There is a hole there, but it can be kind of blocked. One thing to note is that there are different locations. Like you could drop, see he's putting down pylons to check a drop to. You drop here. You could drop here. You can try to drop back here. You can fly around and try to drop up here, or even drop here, which is why he has a pylon there. Because that, well, I mean, you can spot this, but that's very unlikely to remove. But you could drop vultures here and just run up into the main or the natural. So yeah, there's like a lot of different small moves that can occur here, but you can see that YSC is playing, if we zoom out a bit, right? Vision, vision, vision. Zealot behind the minerals to screw up Vulture AI, because if you just drop them, they'll get better kills than having to target. And they'll target this instantly, so you'll have to target on one probe. And then you have the Dragoons spread out. And there comes the dropship. He sees it. He just comes up with the Dragoons. It doesn't get in. Right? So right now, what we're looking at is Mihu with a dropship full of vultures and unable to find any damage. It's very good defense from YSC. Okay, drops out 2. No mines on those. Or maybe those were just other mines that the other vultures that weren't in it. Those are the 6 we were talking about. Honestly, like dropping in here, maybe laying a couple mines if he has some on those, could be a decent move to try. In the meantime, Mihu has laid a bunch of defensive mines. He is throwing down some turrets, going up to 4 factories, getting his armory. The armory a little bit later than we normally see with this build, but that's Mihu's style, so should be expected. And the perfect follow-up. Protoss players consider, if they see dropship going into carrier, to be one of the very strongest things that you can do. You know, if you go dropship, you're vulture heavy, you're not tank heavy. You've spent some of your unit production time on trying to get some harassment done, which you haven't been that successful with. And so, yeah, they just kind of go into carriers right away. And it can be hard to hit a timing attack to deal with that. But Mihu right now, he's going into 6 factory. So, I mean, that is the type of play you would want against these carriers. The dropship's still not finding its way in. All right, finally does do a drop. And, yeah, not really finding a lot of damage. Kills, what, 1 or 2 probes? We're very equal as far as probes go, but you can see the Zealot screwing things up there. The Dragoons coming down and finishing off the job, forcing that dropship out. Mihu back at home. He is getting that +1. He's on his nice, healthy 6 factory. That's a lot of production. But I don't believe he knows about the carriers as of yet, right? There's no comsat scanners, and he hasn't gotten the dropship actually into the main base. The defense has been a little bit too strong. Photon cannon going up in both mineral lines, so he doesn't have to think about those vultures quite so much now. But yeah, if you don't know about the carriers, that's going to be rough. Either way, because it's 6 factory, we know that Mihu is planning an attack. And honestly, I think this is the best way to play this map, is you go like a dropship opening in general is pretty decent on the map. There's like a lot of terrain you can fly over and try to get that dropship, even though it didn't work here. I think it's a good idea. And then into a big siege tank push, because, you know, I've talked about it a lot on Dark Origin. This map is very heavily about containments. And, like, you know, just holding the bridges, for instance, can be very powerful. Where if you move your tanks up in this area, it's like, okay, well, Protoss could expand here, but maybe you can back up and push, right? Can be some very scary stuff. Now, YSC threatening counterattacks. One of the most important things to do while you're going carriers. You have to threaten counterattacks, slow your opponent down. This is the only actual transition that we have in Protoss vs. Terran. You know, a transition is generally, it's like the weakest point in your game. It's when you're switching what you're doing from one tech to another, that type of thing. Like this moment where you don't want to be attacked and you can't really attack, right? Because you're just, you have so much, look at the amount of money he's put into this, right? Like, multiple carriers being made, interceptor upgrade, +1, a lot of supply in there, right? That's 12 supply that he doesn't have in his army. So he just keeps threatening these counterattacks, and Mihu's having a hard time pushing. Honestly, I would have liked to see just a group of mines leave 1 tank and just go. But now we have carriers coming out. He doesn't have that many Goliaths. This is a tough situation, without any doubt. He wants to get over this bridge, but it is tough pushing over bridges here. Bridges are so thin. All right, here we go. The carriers coming in, trying to help, picking off some of these siege tanks. The Dragoons in a gigantic arc, attacking into Mihu's army. Picking off as much as he can. You know, the Goliath count is not that high, and we actually don't have Goliath range quite yet. Siege tank count getting reduced dramatically. And if you lose these siege tanks, suddenly you have to make not only Goliaths, not only upgrades, but you have to remake your siege tanks as well. Very bad situation here for Mihu. He does get that range upgrade. Most of the army here for YSC has been removed. He does save a siege tank. He does have a healthy amount of Goliaths and picks off, you know, the interceptors for now. Dragoons coming back to fight the Goliaths a little bit. But more carriers are joining the fray. Well, yeah, this, you know, this is a position that all Terrans have been in before. No Terrans want to play this spot. Mihu's pretty good against carriers in general, and it is just 2 base still. So let's not count him 100% out, but honestly, looking at this, if he wins, I'm going to be rewatching this and studying, like, how did you win this? Because even though it looks kind of even, right? Like, we're actually lower probe count, even supplies, right? So that seems okay for Terran. But the carriers are, like, one way to think of carriers, when you start getting up to 4 carriers, 5 carriers, 6 carriers, you can almost think of them as a mobile base because of how much they cost your opponent. They're just very cost efficient. They outscale everything Terran has. So you can fly them around and deal so much damage. It's as if you can count 1 additional base for Protoss. That's one of the ways I like to think about carriers, other than just expletives. So Mihu right now, he is adding a 2nd starport, so it looks like he wants to go Wraith. Not a bad idea. If you're behind a little bit against carriers, sometimes Wraiths are your best shot. He's getting +1 ship weapons for those Wraiths as well. Running around with his Vultures, laying a few mines here and there. YSC getting an actual new base up. Still just holding the center, right? He's playing that containment game that we've been talking about a lot on Dark Origin, saying, no, you can't get over the bridges. And Mihu hasn't been able to get over the bridges, right? That's where he lost most of his army the previous time. Most players do try to attack up this way unless Protoss gets a bit out of position. He does come up with some Goliaths. Not a great place to engage. Bridges like these are a carrier's playground. A lot of Dragoons awaiting at that 4th base location. Mihu making his 3rd on location as well. All right, has to back up those Vultures for now. Oh, man. Look at this. Going after the gas. Not something you see so often, but knowing that gas, incredibly important right now. You're going to try to fix that up, trying to repair the gas out of that range, and will be able to do so. Still, a lot of SCVs being picked off right now. And some interceptors going down as well. Cloak is being made, as well as, well, no Wraiths right now. I honestly don't know where the Wraiths are. Here they are. 4 Wraiths in the corner. Yeah, more carriers still coming up. Honestly, I didn't notice, but a lot of times when you go carriers... a few things about it. Hold on. We actually have an engage coming up. He is trying to break the right side, but the carriers can get there really quickly. The Goliaths are lagging behind, so that is going to be some almost free siege tanks. Like, he killed a few goons, but, like, losing 2 tanks for 3 goons right now, not worth it. You need to be very cost efficient. But yeah, like, looking at YSC's side, right? So most carrier builds are Dragoon into carrier or Reaver into carrier, right? Both those will kind of, like, keep you alive. And then after your carriers get going, you need to get Zealot speed. And after that, you get Storm. And then your composition is basically complete, right? So that's what we're kind of looking at while he flies around here. You can see the Citadel of the Dune being made. He's already started a lot of Zealots as well, because those are just going to tank a lot in their battles coming up. But basically, right before Zealot speed is oftentimes the best timing to hit the carrier builds. And then, of course, before Storm, you kind of have to. Here, we're down to almost no tanks, to be honest. Not looking very good. But don't forget, there is a little group of Wraiths in the back kind of waiting for their moment. You have to be careful when you show them, because they're only going to work one time. YSC just moving down this ramp. And here come the Wraiths now. Oh my god, the Wraiths doing a fantastic job. There is no observer in sight. There it is. He picks it off. That was the only observer here. He's got to continue to target these carriers. Carriers have a huge base armor. So even with this many Wraiths, like, you really do have to focus fire as much as possible. Dragoons killing this additional base as well. Looks like, oh my god. He's going to get all the carriers, but the counterattack here from YSC is doing phenomenally. Another carrier coming down, but the Gateway Army itself may end up being too strong here. Wraiths come back to try to help out at the moment, but they do almost no damage to Dragoons. The one Uncloaked does get picked off. Trying to back up as the slow Zealots walk in. Hasn't started that Zealot leg speed yet. Definitely needs to. Third command center left all by itself over here. Does not want to end up losing that, but it looks very likely like it is going to end up going down. A ton of damage going out onto it. The Wraiths not being so useful anymore. We even have observer speed on the way right now for YSC, knowing that that's basically the only thing that can go wrong, as he is building 3 carriers at a time. A lot of mines are in the center. You know, a good idea from Mihu. Maybe you can get YSC to fly into some of this. And somehow the command center gets away with like 2 Dragoon hits left on it. So maybe a little bit of a mistake there from YSC. You know, killing that third command center is almost a death blow. So Mihu, like, I guess still in it. But again, a very, very tough spot. He doesn't really have anything going on. His mineral patches are running out extremely quickly. He has enough money here in these patches to make about 5 more Goliaths. Yeah, he's about to be just completely empty. Science facility is being made, but honestly, I don't see another upgrade coming. Like, he doesn't have the money, he doesn't have the gas, he doesn't really have anything right now. Whereas YSC continues to mass up as an excellent army right now. It's not the best army you've ever seen, but it's good. Still no Zealot legs. He's getting his plasma shields. He is getting the air armor as well, since he already has a +3 there. And Mihu getting into the center at least. Okay, let's see what he can do. He's only got the +1. No upgrades on the ground units here. Is he going to have enough Goliaths to push back these +3 carriers? I guess that's the real thing that we're looking at. And then just, will the Vultures tank enough here for those siege tanks to deal with the rest of the army? We shall see. Picks off an observer. You got to be wary about that as Protoss. Maybe more Wraiths are coming. But look at this. YSC just kind of pushing forward. He's going to be able to eliminate all of the siege tanks here once again. You know, if I've said it once, I've said it 1,000 times. You need that siege tank count to just stay alive. You need to build it over time. You know, the Terran mech army is one that scales, and you need the siege tanks to help with that. You cannot be replacing them. They're not like Dragoons. So right now, that third base is really under fire. This is his only mining base left. A SCV Goliath army moving forward. But yeah, like, you can see how desperate this is for me. Who's making like 4 units at a time right now. And there are not a lot of problems for YSC. He's mined out his bases as well, but he's got this one very healthy. There's no pressure on the map for him. A couple cloaked Wraiths come in, but it's going to take a very long time for them to kill anything. And with one observer there, they can't even target that down. Everything's starting to die at this third base. It's bad news here for Mihu. And that's going to be a GG. YSC advances. Mihu falls short of the round of 8.